Hi guys, welcome to lesson number 15. Let's just check if our guitar is in tune. Match your first string to mine. Yeah, that's the first string. Match your second string to mine. Third one. Fourth one. Fifth one. Sixth one. Yeah. Great. We all know the names of the open string. The first string is called E, second string is called B, third string is called G, fourth string is called D, the fifth string is called A, and the sixth string is called lower E. Sorry. Okay. And any fret I press on any string will get the string name first and the fret number. So if I say E1, so that's first string on the E fret. If I say low E1, then this one. Okay, and so on and so forth. If I say B2, then that's this. B string, second fret. So that's a quick revision on verbal tab. And now I'm going to play a song for you. Okay, and check this out. Here we go. I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me, and I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one, and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone. Now, you must have seen that I was doing a lot of chord work. But you're in lesson 15 and it's time that you know what I did. Up till now, from lesson 11 to lesson 14, you've been doing 2 string and 2 note chords. This is the time to make it 3 or 4 string or maybe 5 string, but simple chords that you can do to play this song. So I'm going to show you how to do this. The first chord, firstly you must understand that the song is broken down into verse and chorus. So the verse has 4 chords and the chorus has 4 chords. If you have a pen and paper, write it down. The 4 chords in the verse are E minor, G, D and A. I'll repeat that again. Write a capital E with a small m, that's E minor, and then G in capital, D in capital and A in capital. The chorus has 4 chords too. The 2, 3, 4 chords stay the same. Just the first chord changes to C. And at the end of the chorus, we have a 5th chord called B. So verse is E minor, G, D and A. Chorus is C, G, D and A. And then at the end of the chorus, we end on a B. Even if you don't write this down, remember I keep saying you need to rewind, pause, forward the, slow down the video, and you can watch this over and over again. That's how you learn from a YouTube video. Now there are 3 options I'm going to show you of how to play E minor chord. Okay, one is just the first 3 strings open. You keep your pick on the G string and strum all the way down to the first string. Now a little bit of theory here. You don't have to remember this, it's just for the people who want to know. The E minor chord is made up of 3 notes, E, G and B. And like we know, the first string is called E, the second string is called B, and the third string is called G, and hence we conform to all the notes that are required to play E minor. Okay, but the other way of playing E minor, if you want to use 4 strings, is you put your middle finger on D2, D string second fret, and strum down the remaining strings open from the 4th string to the 1st. Now what this does is it adds more bass. See, this sounds more trebly, more on the higher frequencies. But the minute you add the D2, you get a little bass. And sometimes we like to hear songs in a good mix where we have equal frequencies of bass and treble. You want to make it more fuller, you can put the same middle finger on A2 and put the ring finger on D2. And you can play this chord all the way from the 6th string. So according to me, E minor is one of the easiest chords you can learn on the guitar. Okay, so like I said, you can either play GBE, you can either play D2 GBE, and you can also play A2 D2, and then you can play all the 6 strings. Okay, do whatever is comfortable and work your way to the full position. Okay, so that what I did in the song when I was playing is sometimes I played the half position, sometimes I played the full position. You can do the same thing. Okay, excuse the little background noise, but like I said, I want these classes to feel like they're a real one-on-one class. So there's not too much editing, there's not too much perfection. It is like a proper class, and I want you to feel like it's a class, so I'm not doing anything more. And yes, to put it simply, it's easier to do it this way. And someone who really wants to learn can take a lot from these videos. Then in the previous videos, you've learned a chord called G, where I've asked you to put your 3rd finger on B3 and your little finger on E3. And I've said only play these 2 strings, B and E. But now you can play this chord all the way from the 4th string. There's also a full position where you can put the middle finger on lower E3 and your 1st finger on A2. If you want to try that, be my guest, but otherwise you can just hold these 2 strings and play from the 4th string. That's because the G major chord requires you to play G, B and D. Okay, so in fact what you could do in this chord is you can actually release the 3rd finger and play it from the 4th string. So you get a G, then you get a B, then you get a G again, and then you get a D. But I like to play it like this because I feel this sounds fuller. Okay, so you're actually getting D, G, D, G, which is like the G power chord. Anyways, don't worry your head about it. Here the challenge is to be able to play whatever chord that makes you feel that it's easy to play and sounds nice and full for you. Because if you played E minor like a full chord and then you just played G like this, it would sound really mismatched. So you need a nice full sound even from the G chord. So you could play it full like this, or you could also raise the B3 off and get both work, or you can play the full G chord like I said is by putting your middle finger on low E3 and 1st finger on A2. Okay, that's why you must have seen sometimes I was doing and sometimes I was doing whatever floats your boat. Okay, but the main thing about this lesson is you should at least be able to play up to 4 strings. Then the next chord is D. You've already been playing D, and this position where your 3rd finger is on B3 and your 2nd finger is on E2. It sounds so thin, right? So the best way to thicken it is by putting your 1st finger on G2 and then playing the 4th string, that is D, open. So you play all the way from the 4th string down to the 1st string. Okay, see how nice and full that sounds compared to this? So you get a nice full D chord sound. Okay, so keep playing that for a while. So you have full chords, E minor, G, D, or half chords, E minor, G, D, but in both cases you have to play D like the full chord. And now, if you know how to play E minor, you just take the fingers one string below and put your little finger on B2 and you get an A chord. And this A chord you can play all the way from the 5th string. I suggest no shortcut for this. Try to get used to playing this. You can play it with your first 3 fingers, you can play it with your last 3 fingers. Okay, so you have E minor, which can be played as first 3 strings open, or with a D2, or with a A2, D2 and all 6 strings. Then you can play a G, which is just D, G, B3, E3, or D, G, B, E3, or low E3, A2, D, G, B3 and G3. And then you can play D, which is again no shortcut anymore, D, G2, B3, E2. And A, which is A string open, D2, G2, B2 and E. And then for B, you just need to take this full chord position, one full step forward. When I say a full step forward means you skip one fret and move to the next. So you move from A to B. But don't play the first string in this one. Just play string number 4, 3, 2. That's B. So A, B. Great. So the verse chords will be E minor, G, D, A. Oh yeah, and then to play C chord. That's the chord I forgot. That's the starting chord for the chorus. So you already know how to play E minor. And in the previous lessons, you've learned that B1 and E can also be C, or G and B1 can also be C. So you can play G, B1, E to give you the C chord, or to the E minor chord you add a B1 and play all 4 strings. And you want to make it fuller, you can also put your third finger on A3 and get the full C chord. The more bass notes that add, the more better the mix of the chord sound. Okay. Also, I wanted to tell you that D is made up of D, F sharp and A. So the B3 is a D, the E2 is an F sharp and the G2 is an A. And you have one extra D, which is the open 4th string. The A is made up of A, C sharp and E, whereas in this position the 5th string is A, the D2 is an E, the G2 is again an A, and the B2 is a C sharp. And then C is made up of C, E and G. So you already have B1, which is C, you have E, which is the E, and the G string, which is the G. But you add one more E in the form of D2, and you can add one more C in the form of A3. All are acceptable. So you could play, you could play, you could play, and that would all be C. The whole idea is to play half chords if you find playing full chords difficult. But if you want the full sound and the good mix of chord sound, then it's better to play it this way. B on the other hand is B, D sharp and F sharp. So your B note is your G4, your F sharp is your D4, and your C sharp and your D sharp is your B4. So you conform to all the notes that are required to make the full chord when you learn these positions. And learn to strum. Just 2 strums per chord. Okay, so E minor 2 strums, then G 2 strums, then D 2 strums, and then A 2 strums. And you might find it difficult to change this, but the more you get this in proper flow, like 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and 1, 2, 1, 2 and 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 1, 2, 1, 2. So the verse chords keep going on E minor, G, D and A, where he goes, I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's whatever, but it's home to me, and I walk alone. So E minor goes to G and D, then goes to E. E minor goes to G, then D to A, and A goes to E minor. Now you see I'm doing these little fillers when I'm strumming. Don't worry about that. You keep to 2 strums per chord. Then the chorus goes to C. My shadow's the only one that walks beside me. C chord, then G chord, and D, and goes to A chord. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone. That's the B chord. And then you go back to E minor. That's it. That's your Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a slightly longer lesson, but if you really watch this lesson, you'll get a good understanding of some of the basic chords that you need to know, and you can play a lot of songs. Hope you enjoyed this lesson.